This television view from Endeavour, now from a camera located in the forward right-hand corner of the payload bay.
Houston Endeavour for PDRF.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Roger, Chris. We are complete on node on berth through step 5. We're holding at the beginning of step 6, waiting for lighting, and we anticipate maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
We copy and understand. We are go from our end, and there are lots of interested folks in the back room watching every move that you're making. Proud of what you've done so far.
To that call from Nancy Currie aboard Endeavour that she's completed opening all the latches that hold Unity in position in the payload bay, and standing by waiting for the sun to position its and lighting conditions before she begins to lift Unity out of its cradle in the bay. For that operation, Commander Bob Cabana also will turn off Endeavour's steering jets to avoid any inadvertent firings while Unity is being lifted clear of the orbiter's bay. Again, however, on board, standing by for lighting conditions to be optimum before Currie begins maneuvering Unity up out of the bay to a position called low hover, a position directly above its current cradle in the bay, however several feet above the bay.
Endeavour Houston with a camera question.
Go ahead, Chris.
Roger, our plan is not to adjust anything, but to be able to change the downlink, just what we're watching. I just wanted to make sure that's what you folks were thinking also.
Yeah, Chris, what we'd like to do is give you that freedom until we get the node up and away, and then we'd like to have some, we'll take it back after it's up and away. We'll want Bravo for STS.
Okay, we're all on the same page. Thanks.
coming out of the payload bay.
We're watching.
Guidance, navigation, and control officer here, Mission Control reports the shuttle steering jets have been turned off. That in preparation for Currie to begin lifting the Unity module out of the payload bay. Of Endeavour in just a couple of minutes as Endeavour moves into an orientation as it continues in its orbit around the Earth that will have its dish-shaped antenna that provides high data rate communications such as television in a better position for transmissions. So again, we expect to regain television in just a couple of minutes. Currie will actually lift Unity up to a point about 12 feet above the edge of the payload bay to that low hover position, and pause there before moving on with the procedures to turn Unity vertical, perpendicular to Endeavour's payload bay, and position its docking mechanism just a few inches away and directly above Endeavour's docking mechanism. flight control is reporting now that Unity up about 3 feet. This view of Unity as it continues to rise out of Endeavour's payload bay from a camera mounted on the shuttle's mechanical arm. The left-hand side of the screen in this view is the cone-shaped mating adapter and the docking mechanism at the end of it that will be aligned directly above a docking mechanism on Endeavour's orbiter docking system as Currie continues the installation of Unity on that docking system. At this point she'll raise Unity up to a position some 12 feet or so above the payload bay, the edge of the payload bay, before beginning to turn it vertically and maneuver it to align the two docking mechanisms. This view again from a camera mounted on the shuttle's mechanical arm as all operations continue to go smoothly. Mission Specialist Nancy Currie on board, continuing to raise Unity from Endeavour's cargo bay, the position it was latched in for launch.
Houston Endeavour, will attitude maintenance be required at low hover?
A well-oiled machine. We were just discussing the same thing. No, it is not required, Bob. Beautiful and delicate work so far. It's a pleasure to watch.
And Nancy's a real pro.
Unity now more than 8 feet out of the bay. Unity modules now nearing the low hover position as Currie continues to lift it directly out of the payload bay of Endeavour. Unity with a mass of about 12.8 tons. Also in this view, in the foreground, is the docking mechanism that will be aligned with Endeavour's docking mechanism to install Unity in position for the rendezvous and capture with Zarya. Also in the middle of the docking mechanism, a target can be seen that will be used to assist in aligning the two mechanisms as Currie maneuvers it into position. The Payload Deploy and Retrieval Systems officer here now reports that Currie is at the low hover position with the module about 13 feet above the payload bay. During the assembly of the International Space Station, more than a dozen different elements will be attached to the various berthing ports on Unity at one time or another. With the forward berthing port seen here with the mating adapter attached, eventually being a berthing port for the United States Laboratory, recently delivered to the Kennedy Space Center to begin its pre-launch preparations and testing. When assembly of the station is completed, the ports around Unity will have attached to them a joint airlock module, another connecting module, a cupola, and early truss structure, as well as the U.S. laboratory on the forward port seen in this view, and in the aft port the Zarya module. Flight controllers now report Currie's moving into the first steps of the installation procedure to attach Unity to the docking mechanism on Endeavour. That first steps being the rotation of Unity to a position perpendicular above the cargo bay of Endeavour. this view of Unity from a camera mounted in the rear right-hand corner of Endeavour's cargo bay. So Currie begins rotating the module to a position eventually perpendicular to the cargo bay of Endeavour. In the forward portion of the bay in this view can be seen the orbiter docking system and the docking mechanism on Endeavour, with the docking ring extended, ready for attachment with the docking mechanism on Unity. This view now from a camera on Endeavour's mechanical arm as Nancy Currie continues to maneuver Unity, rotating it to a position perpendicular above the shuttle's cargo bay. Endeavour is currently at an altitude of 197 miles as it crosses above the southern Pacific. Its course will take it across the tip of South America before it moves into sunset.
Endeavour Houston, we are a couple minutes to the TDRS handover. Our loss, we will be losing when we switch to the other satellite. We'll be losing these beautiful views we've been watching for the last 20 minutes or so. And just a reminder, sunset on orbit's about 10 minutes away for that second ICBC look.
Roger, and first and second shots have already been made for ICBC, and we're recording these great elbow camera views, and we got some in-cabin. We'll try and edit a tape and put something together for the crew choice downlink later, since you're missing it.
That'd be beautiful, Bob. We will not have KU down again until the other side of the ZOE, but sure is looking great so far.
On board Endeavour, all activities continue to go well as Endeavour moves over an area where we switch from one tracking satellite to another, from a western tracking satellite located over the Pacific to a tracking satellite located over the Atlantic. We're out of communications for just about a minute or so with the shuttle. However, we don't expect to receive television again until we go back to the western satellite, which will be about 41 minutes from now. Mission Specialist Nancy Currie is continuing to rotate the Unity module into a position vertical above the cargo bay, perpendicular to the cargo bay of Endeavour. Once she reaches that point, she'll begin maneuvering Unity to a point where the docking mechanism located on Unity's mating adapter will be directly above the mechanism on Endeavour. Payload Deploy and Retrieval Systems Officer here reports that Currie has now maneuvered Unity into the pre-install position. That's a position directly above the docking mechanism on Endeavour. Next, she'll begin to lower the two and align the two. Again, placing them only inches apart before the final installation.
In polling the room here, even though it's swung a ways in pitch, we have no requirement for attitude maintenance.
Thanks, Houston.
That call to the crew indicating that Endeavour's orientation is okay. Endeavour's steering jets have been off during the procedure to install Unity to avoid any inadvertent firings that would create a problem with the precise alignment underway. Again, this is a computer-generated graphic illustrating the view from a centerline camera that the crew is using, a camera that looks up through the docking mechanism on Endeavour toward the docking mechanism on Unity, where a target's located. Using that visual target, the crew can align the two docking mechanisms precisely for the installation of Unity. This is a system identical to the system used for docking with the Mir space station. Crew's now powering up the docking mechanism. That's the next step in the procedure to attach Unity to Endeavour. Powering up Endeavour's docking mechanism in advance of docking the two together.
good, KU. It looks like it.
We wish. We'll have it in 21 minutes.
21 minutes, okay. And Houston Endeavour, just curious if Tidra Z was going to be up during the ZOE, and if you'd like us to wait for coverage if we get down to install and we don't have it.
Endeavour Houston, Bob, we do not have Tidra Z. However, if possible, we would like to wait until we have KU coverage to be able to observe.
Okay, we understand. We're going to maneuver. We'll continue everything up to pre-install and to install rather, and we'll hold at install until we have KU and good comm with you guys.
Roger.
This is Mission Control Houston. That plan discussed by the crew and flight controllers to continue aligning Unity with the docking mechanism on Endeavour, maneuvering them down to the pre-install position where the mechanisms are just inches apart, awaiting the time for the final installation where Endeavour's jets will be fired to force the mechanisms together and engage it. They'll wait for that final step until about 19 minutes from now, when Endeavour has moved within range of the western tracking satellite. And communications, good communications are available between Mission Control and Endeavour. on board Endeavour, Mission Specialist Nancy Currie continuing to lower Unity down towards the docking mechanism on Endeavour and align the two as illustrated by this graphic from Mission Control, fed by real-time telemetry data received from the spacecraft. This simulating a view from a centerline camera mounted in the center of Endeavour's docking mechanism, looking up toward a target mounted in the center of Unity's mechanism. Again, the current plan is for the crew to continue this to put Unity into the install position, a position with the docking mechanisms just inches apart. Hold at that point, if necessary, to await communications between Endeavour and Mission Control via the Western tracking satellite. That's due to the fact that we will likely lose communications with the spacecraft in just about a little over 7 minutes when it moves over the Indian Ocean, or rather Asia, where a portion of Earth not covered by NASA's tracking satellites. So we expect that the actual installation of the node will occur in about 15 minutes when we move out of that area not covered by communications and regain communications through the Western satellite. Again, that in about 15 minutes from now for the final installation and the final attachment of Unity to Endeavour, at which point Cabana fires Endeavour's jets and engages the two mechanisms.
Houston Endeavour, Unity is at the install position and we'll wait for your go for berthing.
Endeavour Houston, we copy.
And Houston Endeavour for PDRF?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just tell Angie that it looks like we do in fact have the pitch in the ODS. We aligned it visually and we see the slight pitch and the slight X error.
Roger, Angie seeing the same thing. Thank you.
And Houston Endeavour, just to confirm we're all on the same page, we are holding at step 4. We'll proceed with step 4 on your call.
Bob, we concur. We should have AOS so we can watch the data at 15:03.
That call from Commander Bob Cabana aboard Endeavour indicating that the crew...
Endeavour, since we waited this long, we'd like to wait just a couple minutes past that, and we ought to have a nice sunrise for some great pictures, good views during the berthing.
We concur. We show orbiter day about 1 minute after AOS, so that sounds great.
With that call from Endeavour, the crew will hold with Unity's docking mechanism aligned just inches away from Endeavour's docking mechanism. All of that alignment in excellent shape as checked by flight controllers here on the ground and concurred with the crew. They'll await 11 minutes now until Endeavour moves into communications range of the Western Tracking and Data Relay Satellite and also into Sunrise to perform the final berthing, the final attachment and engagement of the docking mechanisms. That will involve having the arm put into a limp mode by Currie, and then Cabana firing the primary reaction control system jet thrusters on Endeavour to move Endeavour's docking mechanism up, forcing it to engage with the docking mechanism on Unity. Again, that expected to take place now in just a little more than 10 minutes. This is Mission Control. Houston Endeavor's currently above Russia, over that portion of Earth not covered by NASA's tracking satellite, so we should regain communications with Endeavour in just a couple of minutes, in just about 3 minutes as Endeavour moves into sunrise. We do anticipate that the crew will resume operations to attach the Unity connecting module, docking it with the Endeavour docking system. At present, Unity poised above Endeavour's docking mechanism with the two mechanisms just inches apart. As the final berthing of that begins, it will have Currie put Endeavour's robotic arm into a limp mode, while then Commander Bob Cabana fires Endeavour's thrusters to force the two docking mechanisms together and engage the latches. Flight controllers have confirmed that the alignment of the two mechanisms is in excellent condition, with both ready and awaiting that final step in the process. Again, that expected to begin in just about 2 minutes as Endeavour moves into communications range and then sunrise. At the time that Unity's berthed to Endeavour's docking mechanism, Endeavour will be above Russia, just north of the Mongolian border, at an altitude of about 140 miles.
Endeavour Houston, we are with you on the west. We have good solid data. We show sunrise coming shortly. We may have TV in a few minutes, but we would like you to go ahead with the Unity install as soon as you are happy with your lighting, picking up in step 4 of the procedure.
Okay, Houston, we'll start into it.
And with that, flight controls will be standing by as the crew begins that final procedure to attach a Unity to Endeavour. The two docking mechanisms, as shown in this graphic illustration, just inches apart. Again, for this berthing procedure, Currie will put the arm in basically a limp mode, and then Cabana will fire Endeavour's jets to push Endeavour's mechanism into Unity. Process almost identical to dockings performed with the Mir space station. We now have a television from Endeavour. Flight controllers report they see the flight controller power on board Endeavour, that preparatory to firing the steering jets. Robotic systems officer reports the arm going into limp mode.
Houston Endeavour, we see ourselves in a good config. If you're happy, we're ready to fire the jets.
We have an excellent view through camera Charlie. You have a go to install Unity.
Flight controllers report everything normal with a capture of the docking mechanisms. Standing by now for the crew to begin retraction of the docking ring, pulling the two mechanisms together. This view now, close-up of the docking mechanism and the ring. Again, standing by for retraction of the docking ring. The ring firmly latched onto Unity.
Endeavour Houston, by our tally, you have had the ring aligned for over a minute. You are go to pick up with the ring in step 8.
Roger, Houston, we're picking up with step 8. Bye. And Houston Endeavour, you got a good view on camera Alpha if you want to watch.
We are watching.
As the crew completes the docking of Unity to Endeavour, The space shuttle is passing about 163 statute miles above China, just about to move out across the Pacific. And northern Japan. Docking ring continuing to retract and pull the two mechanisms together. This view showing the opposite to mating adapter on Unity. The mating adapter awaiting now the Zarya module. The Zarya module currently some 6,300 statute miles ahead of Endeavour. However, moving closer by some 770 miles with each orbit of Earth. Mechanical Systems Officer reports the hooks now driving on the docking mechanism to complete the latching together. Again, docking all going well, all completed with everything firmly attached now.
We show ourselves complete with step 18 on auto docking sequence. Houston Endeavour. We've got Unity firmly attached to Endeavour, and we're off to a great start on building the International Space Station. Thanks to everybody down on the ground for such excellent training.
Endeavour Houston, congratulations to all the members of the crew. It's a beautiful sight.
The Unity module now towering more than 3 stories above the cargo bay of Endeavour, as seen in this view from a camera that's mounted in the aft right-hand corner of the shuttle's payload bay. This is a view from the centerline camera. That camera soon to be removed by the crew as they continue now preparations to eventually enter the mating adapter on Unity. The adapter, the lower adapter in this view, and equalize pressure between that adapter and Endeavour. Then they'll again reclose the hatches between the two in preparation for tomorrow's rendezvous and capture of Zarya. With the Unity and Endeavour firmly docked now, the next step in activities today will be for Nancy Currie to detach the robotic arm from Unity and then a photo survey will be performed looking at the docking mechanisms and the connection between Endeavour and Unity. Also, simultaneously, preparations will begin in the inside the orbiter docking system to prepare for entering into the mating adapter. Also, a test will be performed of the docking mechanism located at the other end of Unity, the docking mechanism that will be used tomorrow for the capture and attachment to Zarya. And the mechanical arm now releasing from Unity.
Houston, Endeavour for STS.
Go ahead for SVS.
I'm Chris. I'm starting on page 2-8, 2 of 8, message 21, wire tray node, Cascal. I'll be using camera Charlie. And are they, do you have a video? Are they up and running?
Jim, we have good video through camera Charlie.
Great, and then also I did get the dots running in camera Bravo and got a solution going right when the node was installed. If you could ask the STS guys, I selected OBAS, and I saw a good X and Y agreement, and Z was about 866, and I wonder why it's not down in the 400 range. Thanks. Oh wait, ignore that, Chris. I just figured it out. Thanks. It's because it's looking at the top of the node.
Copy.
On board, Mission Specialist Nancy Currie now maneuvering the mechanical arm into position for a survey, a photo survey of the orbiter docking mechanisms, both those attached together. While that's underway, activities are also in work to begin entering the orbiter docking system and prepare to pressurize the vestibule, the area between the two hatches, the hatch on Unity's mating adapter and the hatch on Endeavour. Once that's pressurized, then pressure will be equalized between Unity's mating adapter and Endeavour's crew cabin, the crew entering that adapter to install caps on a couple of vent valves in the mating adapter. Following that, everything, the pressure in Endeavour and in the mating adapter reduced to 10.2 psi. The cabin pressure on board Endeavour at present, that's done in preparation for the spacewalks to come during the flight.
Houston, Endeavour alignment.
Go ahead, Sergei.
We complete all shootings for today, so we disable standby.
Copy.
Okay.
Houston Endeavour for ECOM.
He was just talking that he's ready for the fest dump.
Okay, and I was just going to ask if we could hold off a little bit while I back Nancy up on the arm while Jim's doing STS.
Endeavour Houston, Bob, you have at least a half-hour grace period on the haulage that we have, so that'll be fine.
Okay, thanks. And Houston Endeavour, we'd like to go ahead and extend the ring on PMA-1 for the interface survey.
You have a go.
Houston Endeavour, we're getting ready for docking ring extension on PMA-1.
Thanks, Jerry. We're watching.
That call from Mission Specialist Jerry Ross on board as the crew prepares for a test of the docking mechanism located on the other end of Unity than that attached to Endeavour, the end awaiting attachment to the Zarya module. This test and extension and then retraction of the docking ring on that docking mechanism. The mechanical systems officer here in Mission Control reports he sees the ring on pressurized mating adapter number 1 driving out as expected. That test proceeding, again an extension of the docking ring and then again retracting it. This is Mission Control Houston. This view is looking at the mating adapter.
Sweetening up nicely, Nancy.
As that, Chris, we might see maybe an inch, which is exactly what we saw in the node install. Looks good.
Again, that's the docking mechanism that will be used for the capture and attachment of Zarya to Unity. Zarya at present 6,270 miles ahead of Endeavour, closing all the time, closing at a rate of about 776 miles with each orbit. In about 3 hours, Endeavour will fire its orbital maneuvering system engines to raise its orbit and adjust the rate at which it is closing in on Zarya, actually adjusting that rate much slower to under 500 miles with each orbit of Earth.
Endeavour's astronauts began Flight Day 3 of the first International Space Station assembly mission with their attention focused squarely in the payload bay. Their prime task, the installation of the connecting node called Unity onto the shuttle's orbiter docking system. And mission specialist Nancy Currie, the operator of the shuttle's robot arm, told spacecraft communicator Chris Hadfield Saturday afternoon that they were eager to get to work.
We'd like to get ahead a little bit. We'd like to go ahead and start RMS top and at least get the arm at pre-cradle. And based on what we've seen with the CTVC performance in darkness and the inability to use the app payloads, of course, we want to unberth during daylight, so we'd like to get a little bit ahead so we're all set to start the Birthing process right at sunrise.
Sounds good, Nancy. You have a go.
Assisted by mission specialist Jim Newman, Currie raised the 50-foot-long arm from its cradle and secured its end effector to the grapple fixture on one of the pressurized mating adapters. Then she began slowly raising the 12.5-ton, 36-foot-long structure from its berth, careful of its close clearances with the sides of Endeavour's payload bay. Once she had Unity clear of the structures of the orbiter, Currie started maneuvering the module in the direction of the orbiter docking system in the forward portion of the cargo bay, while rotating it to a vertical position so that the pressurized mating adapter was aligned above the extended ring on the orbiter docking system. With Unity properly positioned, Commander Bob Cabana reported to Hadfield that he was ready to take the next step.
Houston Endeavour, we see ourselves in a good config. If you're happy, we're ready to fire the jets.
We have an excellent view through camera Charlie. You have a go to install Unity.
Cabana fired Endeavour's thrusters to force the orbiter up, pushing the docking system against the PMA, engaging the docking mechanisms in both pieces of equipment, and locking the Unity node in place. Moments later, Mission Control gave the word to retract the docking ring.
Endeavour Houston, by our tally, you have had the ring aligned for over a minute. You are go to pick up with the ring in step 8.
Roger, Houston, we're picking up with step 8.
Pilot Rick Sturckow and mission specialist Jerry Ross retracted that docking ring, pulling Unity's docking surface down onto the docking system. Cabana reported to Mission Control the operation was complete.
Houston Endeavour, we show ourselves complete with step 18 on auto-docking sequence.
Houston Endeavour, we've got Unity firmly attached to Endeavour, and we're off to a great start on building the International Space Station. Thanks to everybody down on the ground for such excellent training.
Endeavour Houston, congratulations to all the members of the crew. It's a beautiful sight.
Once Unity was firmly in place, Currie released the robot arm's grip on the grapple fixture on pressurized mating adapter number 2 and moved the arm's end effector to conduct a visual survey of pressurized mating adapter number 1 at the far end of Unity, where the control module Zarya is to be mated to Unity Sunday evening. Meanwhile, her crewmates worked to equalize the atmospheric pressure between the shuttle and PMA-2 before Cabana and Ross opened the hatch and briefly entered the PMA to configure hardware for later in the mission. Later, spacewalkers Ross and Newman, assisted by mission specialist Sergei Krikalev, spent time setting up some of the tools that will be used during the 3 planned spacewalks later this week to complete connections between Unity and Zarya. Then, Ross and Krikalev took time to answer a few questions during an interview late Saturday night. Ross was asked about the potential benefits from the new space station once it's completed.
Well, I think the international aspects of the space station mean that we're all learning to work together as one people of the world, and that probably will be one of the most important benefits. However, after the station is constructed, we do expect to have very many new scientific discoveries that will benefit every person on the surface of the Earth.
With the second piece of that station towering out of the payload bay, Cabana and Sturckow closed out the workday with another firing of Endeavour's jet thrusters to refine the approach to Zarya for Sunday's scheduled rendezvous and grapple, leading to the mating of the first 2 pieces of the International Space Station.